Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Meconoman at YouTube with another model review. We are building the Takara Tomy Zoids Wild line, released 2018. This is a lot different to the old 90s wind-up toys. Even though they are still wind-up, I find the detail and tooling to be much finer and closer and akin to a scale model. There is a few different things that are quite significantly different, and we'll explore it together. There is a whole new form of art, animation and products with this new source material, and interestingly enough, the majority of the model kits are now in the more common 35th scale, with figures externally riding the mechs. The model featuring in this video is the Kabtor, some sort of horned beetle, one of the smaller and cheaper from the main line. Probably retails anywhere around the 500 to 700 yen. Got it for closer to 20 bucks here. We're presented straight out of the box very vibrant and beautiful instructions with multiple information about its playability, transformation sequence, the parts, the build. The parts are met in a few small plastic bags, all pre-coloured and removed from the sprue. Slight nub may appear and need to be cleaned up. We're also given a mat where we can place the parts on it as to not lose them. Sort of a bit of a floor play function. The motor inside is pre-coloured, can come apart for painting and not to be gummed up. The instructions also cover how to pull apart and reassemble the already assembled motor. The model is pre-coloured, snap fits, little rubber ends like the older models, as well as the Kotobukiya ones to allow for articulation and regular deassemble and reassemble. The figure, interestingly enough, that sits on top is a frosted clear plastic, which can allow you to mask the visor and paint it up a lot like some small aircraft or ship kits from the military scene. It is very strange and a little annoying to work out of small bags and cleaning up and looking for nubs and flash mark and not analysing a runner sheet. It's something that can be overcome if it saves on plastic time or manufacturing costs. There are still issues like ejector pins which need to be puttied up and sanded away. These are disguised as well as they can humanly be without being visible on the surface. Seams are minimal, things do come apart and extra detail just clips right on top, hiding that up. It can be glued together with plastic cement and covered, though the clever point of all the joints to articulate it and transform it is very, very clever, yet enough clearance is considered for painting. The model is generally designed for all aspects of hobbyists and collectors. It is disappointing that some sharp points, such as the end of lances, horns, feet and whatnot, are filleted off to a very, very blunt round end. Could be the fact that being marketed to toys and sharp ends are not encouraged. The detail in mechanical areas such as the legs, the side of the exoskeleton and bits and pieces in the weapons is quite deep, very sharp, enjoyable. Attention to texture is also considered, where some areas are nicely polished where others are kind of matted. Really plays with the visual effect if you're just to snap it together. The black is far too dark and hides a lot of this lovely detail, where painting and the use of metallics can really bring it out. Also, the eyes of the creature, which does attract your eyes visually when viewing it, is a special coated metallic blue. Very small point, so it doesn't cost a lot to coat those parts separated from the whole model. Very nice touch for visual appeal. Clear sticker sheet is included, nothing too special. Slightly transparent rubber ends. Fortunately, being a fixed colour, you do have to design your colour scheme around these components, though they're reasonably well hidden underneath the body of the bug. There is a lot of pegs sticking out for sticking on or clipping on weapons. They are the same diameter as the previous toy design, so mixing parts, weapons and guns with the older models is possible for customizing. Very well considered and thought out that that's included, but the pegs are detailed to the point where they look like natural detail. Looking at all together, snapped together, very, very impressed. And the playability of the wind-up motion where it can walk, the flipping out of the side ears and pulling out the artillery piece, very clever. Bit of a carousel mechanism underneath, so the cannon goes up and down to give some sort of form or illusion of overall movement. The snap fit is not overly tight. It comes together and pulls apart without any damage concern or stressing of parts, which a chapter that Bandai can definitely take out of this book. A quick assemble and having a play will not take you any longer than half an hour. Doing a full clean up and removing of seams, as well as sharpening edges and gluing, will only take a few hours. With how easy it comes together and pulls apart and stores, painting it is also quite quick and could quite possibly be a 1 or 2 day job with a fair amount of detail and effort included. In the painting and finishing of this kit, the usual process I do in this channel does apply. With the bags, I sorted each part into groups or clusters of colours, mounted them on skewers appropriately, very easy, hit it with Tamiya grey primer, then utilising Mr. Colour as well as Gaia Note lacquers, shaded in a gradient fashion from a dark turquoise all the way to a white, and with the metallics, a series of gunmetal, metallic black and a touch of burnt iron. With liquid mask, the visor of the figure was covered, painted in multiple coats to build up that grey finish. The inner frame exoskeleton had quite a substantial amount of hand painting of copper and other metals to pick out the pistons, turning rings, joints, all that sort of thing to give it more interest and variation. A lot of it copped a sludge black wash and light silver chipping with a weathering pencil applied in some areas for natural wear and tear. The gloss coat was converted to a satin coat as to show a bit of wear in the finish. It was all assembled with PVA glue. The central motor underneath all that plastic was not painted in fear of clogging. It still works quite fine and walks with the wind-up motion. The articulation of the side wings, as well as articulation of the body opening up, changing the horn and extruding the cannon, is completely ineffective and can be played with without scratching the paint, not due to any modification I've done, but the clearances of the model. The whole build and paint process only took a little more than 5 days. With all the surplus time and the interest of the look, I also built a diorama by cutting up a basic Daiso bought pen container, filling it up with plaster and cardboard, detailing it with rocks, sand and other debris, painting it up, weathering and adding flock. Now, visually design wise, not a fan of all the kits coming out of the Zoid Wild line. It is targeted for kids in a source anime fashion, and the model kit is targeting as many audiences as possible, from the true old collectors, the scale modelers, the toy collectors and kids. Mind you, this is just such a privilege and a joy to play with. Even though it looks simple at first, building, playing, weathering, working with it shows that there's quite a bit of engineering and thought that's gone into this kit. I sincerely hope that this line and show does very well, where Tomy Takara does play more with the Zoids assets and create more kits and shows and whatnot in the future. I will definitely be interested in purchasing more and building more of their kits. This particular kit is definitely highly recommended in my books. a little bit simplistic and not much of a challenge, just snap building it together. But once you start getting into the modification, painting, scale modeling mindset, there's quite a bit to enjoy there. If you're just only after slapping some stickers on, clicking it together and putting it on your shelf, it could be not very satisfying challenge wise. You might want to look at the larger, more expensive Liger shaped kits, though I'm not too sure how they'll go about it. All in all, thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. All the sources and interesting links, information in the description below. Check out Facebook for very regular content being posted and other things that I'm doing across my other platforms and accounts. We do post at least once a week here, and I'm happy to answer any questions left in the comment section. Thank you very much again for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for more. Catch you guys later.